Okay, so all binaural beats are not created equally. Check this video out.
I'm inspired. I'm inspired.
So I want to share with you guys a story today about a time I had a psychedelic experience and I used binaural beats together. If you're not familiar, or if you're kind of like, weirded out when someone talks about psychedelic experiences, check out one of my videos about my psychedelic experience. I'm not going to get deep into it right here, right now, but it served me in a very great way in my life, and so I own that experience of mine. But while on tripping psychedelic mushrooms, I had about 5 grams. I was listening to some binaural beats, and in that state, in that heightened state of awareness, in that, one thing that psychedelics will do is it will make one become extraordinarily sensitive. On psilocybin mushrooms, I was extraordinarily sensitive to vibes, to energy, to light. I could see auras. I could feel emotions in this really deep, almost frightening way. And so during the trip, we decided to listen to some binaural beats. And I was listening to one of them. And in that experience, I was sensitive enough to pick up on whoever made the binaural beat. I was able to pick up on not so good intentions in that binaural beat. I was able to pick up on a very maleficent, is that a word? Maleficent? There's benevolent and maleficent. I think that's how you say it. It was not a good vibe. It was a bad vibe. I sensed fear in it. I sensed something that just didn't sit well with me. And there was this like crocodile, snaky kind of sound. And what ended up happening was my third eye was going crazy, and I was able to hear the underlying message of these tones. And it was not for my highest growth. In fact, it was lowering my vibration. The frequency, because here's the thing about frequencies. Sometimes in life you rise above another frequency. And so when you listen to a certain frequency, it'll bring you down, right? Like bad vibes. Like if you're around somebody with bad vibes, it's like it's more challenging. I mean, you can hit that all-time high to where it's like you're unaffected, but if you're not there, then you'll feel your energy being drained by someone's bad vibes, someone's like lower vibes. I'm not gonna call them bad, but lower vibes like fear, anger, hatred, or lower, denser guilt, shame. They're lower, denser vibes. And so in this binaural beat I was listening to, it had some lower, denser vibes that did not bring me to a good place in my trip, and I had to change it. So, and another way to look at it, I'm interrupting myself. Another way to look at it that I experienced it was almost like the binaural beat opened up a portal. And when I was listening to the binaural beats and it started, a portal was opened up for certain things to come through into my consciousness. And the things I felt coming through into my consciousness were not good. They were not, it was almost like open up a portal to another, like from another dimension. And dimensional beings were speaking to me through this portal. And the dimensional beings that were coming through this portal were like, I don't want to use the word demons, but they were like they were not love-based beings. And I immediately turned it off. And so maybe that can get perspective as to what binaural beats are. It's like when you put those on, it opens up. You can't see it if your third eye is open, and when you close your eyes, you might see the vibrations that you're taking into your consciousness through that eye. But they're opening up a portal, and now the messages from this other dimension, Like, it sounds like another freaking dimension, right? Like, you walk around here, you're not gonna hear shit like like what you hear on binaural beats. But when you listen to binaural beats and you put them on your ears, it's like you're listening into another freaking dimension that's non-physical. And be conscious, that's all I'm saying, of what dimensions are being opened up for you that are feeding into your consciousness. Because that dimension was not a dimension I want to go. Continue, Gordon. Here's what I would recommend if you're still interested in listening to binaural beats and you find they help. I mean, some of them are great. Some of them have those great intentions behind them, and I've used them and they've made me feel great. But it's about being sensitive enough to pick up on it. But my favorite kind of tone to listen to is on this YouTube channel called You Are Creators, and it's the 6 healing frequencies of God. I believe that's what it is. It's like the 6 healing frequencies, but it's just pure frequency. So the tones that I'm listening to, I listen to that. It's just a pure tone. It's almost like a singing chakra bowl that you would play, and you would feel the effects of it moving energies around in a way that was clear. You know, it's very clear. It's not masked in a bunch of stuff. You know, there's some binaural beats out there that there's tones and energies that are masked by other sounds, and it just didn't sit well with me. And in that stream trip, I definitely felt, you know, and I don't think that was my own fear. Like I felt like that was like an outside influence. That was like, you know, I was susceptible to it because I was going through a lot of stuff in that time of my life. You know, and so there was my own fears that I was encountering as well, but that tone did not sit right with me. So I would like to, not picking my nose, it was just itching. I just like to share that idea that be conscious of the binaural beats that you choose to listen to. And my favorite ones to listen to are the 6 healing tones of God by You Are Creators on that YouTube channel. Shout out to you guys. It's just pure tones. It's just pure frequency sounds that just, they sit really well with me. And I always get, if I need to clear some energy inside of me, that I'll go to those and I find it helps. But I'll tell you, the best frequency to listen to, in my experience, the highest frequency to listen to, is silence. If you're in a room that's totally silent right now, and you listen for a moment, you'll hear this really, really high ringing sound. Maybe you don't, but I know a lot of people have experienced this. You'll hear this really, really high ringing sound. To me, that's the voice of God. And sitting in that silence, in that space, the frequency is so high you can't even hear it. Like the dog whistle, the frequency is so high human ears can't pick up on it. And so I've experienced sitting in silence and focusing on that sound, and that's when all the insights come through. That's when things are really cleared. That's silence. Silence flushes, in my experience, it's flushed me of thoughts and energies I did not prefer. It took some time to adjust because it's a very high frequency. Sometimes in my experience in the past, I've experienced being on such a low frequency, I couldn't even deal with the silence. Silence was too high of a frequency. Like, have you ever been in such a low place that being in silence was very uncomfortable? Sometimes you gotta take steps to get up there. You know, it's a very high frequency. It's a very powerful thing, silence and stillness. And so, if some of you are using binaural beats right now and you're finding that it's not really doing it for you, it might be time for you to move up to silence. That silence is some powerful stuff. A lot of us, we look for God. We look for God in our lives, and we're asking, like, to give me answers, to give me guidance. But the thing is, we never stop talking verbally, and we never stop talking. At least in my experience, I found myself to never stop talking. I remember I'd be thinking so much, I would never ever take a second to listen and get in silence, internal silence, external silence, sit in that and receive. And in doing that, that's when I find that God will talk to me. and God will give me those answers. And so I hope this serves you. Hope my experience has reflected back to you something of value that you can take into your life with your experience, and so you can experience some evolution, some growth, you know what I'm saying, all that good stuff. But if this video has served you, do me a favor, hit that like button, leave a comment, and share your experience. Have you ever experienced something that I was talking about? I know it's a little out there to begin with, but you know, have you ever experienced anything of that nature? It'd be cool to hear your experience. And subscribe, as always, you know, and you can keep this ball rolling. So much love to you. Till next time, peace.